Be so powerful, one that literally kicks off almost all protein production in your body, acts as a master regulator for your DNA, and, get this, is now at the center of research on how we age? Today, we're going to do a deep dive into that exact molecule, methionine.
And right away, we hit this central mystery. How can the very thing that starts life, that builds us, also have a potential dark side linked to aging? It's this crazy paradox, right? So to really get it, we've got to go back to the basics.
So what exactly is methionine? Well, it's one of the 9 essential amino acids. And when I say essential, I really mean it. It's non-negotiable. Your body just can't make it, so you have to get it from food. But what really makes it special is that it contains sulfur. And that little sulfur atom gives it some incredible superpowers.
All right, so let's start with its heroic side. Before we dive into the whole paradox thing, you really need to appreciate just how, well, fundamental this molecule is for our biology.
Let's zoom right into the genetic level. Think about it like this. Our DNA has this 3-letter code it uses to give instructions. And methionine's code, AUG, is the universal start signal. It's the ultimate go signal. It's like the starting gun that fires to begin making pretty much every single protein in your body. Without it, the assembly line just never gets going. So where do you find this stuff? Well, it's pretty common in protein-rich foods you'd expect, like meat, fish, eggs, and dairy. And if you're on a plant-based diet, no worries. It's easy to find in things like Brazil nuts, seeds, and legumes. So the real key here is just variety. Getting your protein from a bunch of different sources is what's important.
But methionine is so much more than just a starter block. It's a master regulator, a true Swiss Army knife for our cells, performing this incredible range of jobs.
Remember that sulfur atom we talked about? Well, here's where it works its magic. It lets methionine help form these critical things called disulfide bonds. But really, you can just think of them as a kind of molecular superglue. They are absolutely essential for folding proteins into their proper 3D shapes. And for proteins, shape is everything. If the shape is wrong, they just can't do their job. Simple as that.
And get this, one of its most powerful jobs is being a precursor. Methionine is like the first domino in a chain reaction that produces glutathione, which is known as the body's master antioxidant. You can think of glutathione as your own internal cleanup crew. It goes around neutralizing all those harmful free radicals and helps your liver detoxify everything from pollutants to that glass of wine you had.
Okay, and if that wasn't enough, methionine also runs this incredible process called methylation. It gets turned into this molecule called SAMe, which acts like a busy delivery truck. It zips around carrying these tiny chemical tags and sticks them onto our DNA. These tags work like on-off switches for our genes, which is fundamental for regulating your mood, for repairing your DNA. It's just a massive deal.
But, and this is a huge but, methionine can't do any of this alone. Its entire system is totally dependent on its B vitamin sidekicks, B6, folate, and B12. If you don't have enough of these guys, a lot of methionine's best work just grinds to a halt. Seriously, you need the whole team for any of this to work right.
Okay, so it's pretty clear methionine is a hero, right? It builds us, regulates us, cleans us up. But you know how it goes. Every hero story has a twist. And this is where we pivot to the paradox, and we start to see how something so vital could also come with some potential risks.
So here it is. This is the core conflict, laid out side by side. On one hand, it's absolutely vital. We need it to live. But on the other hand, a lot of research, especially from animal studies, is starting to suggest that a chronic excess of it could be a problem, maybe even accelerating aging or fueling certain diseases. Let's break those risks down. First, in animals, too much can overactivate a growth pathway called mTOR. Think of it like the body's go, go, go switch. And when that's always on, it can speed up aging. Second, some cancer cells seem to have what's called a methionine dependency. They basically hijack it for fuel to grow faster. Third, remember those B vitamin sidekicks? Without them, excess methionine can turn into homocysteine, which can damage your arteries. And finally, it can create metabolic stressor in your body, including producing these nasty molecules called AGEs.
Okay, and this is a really important point, so listen up. While all this research on restricting methionine is fascinating, we have to be super clear.
Most of the really compelling evidence comes from lab animals like mice and rats. It's an amazing research tool for understanding aging, but it is absolutely not a recommended do-it-yourself diet for people. You have to remember, this stuff is still essential for life. So that brings us to the practical takeaway, right? We've seen the good, we've seen the potential bad. How do we actually navigate this whole thing and find that sweet spot for our long-term health?
So what does balance even look like in numbers? Well, the official recommendation for a 154-pound adult is about 1.3 grams per day, and that includes both methionine and its partner, cysteine. But here's the thing. For most of us eating a pretty standard diet, we're probably hitting or even going over that number without even thinking about it.
So what does this actually look like on a plate? Well, you can think of it kind of like protein cycling. You might have a breakfast that's lower in methionine, like oatmeal. Then for lunch, a moderate plant protein meal, maybe a big lentil soup. And then for dinner, you can have a nice piece of salmon, which is richer in it. The whole idea is just to balance those higher methionine foods with lower ones throughout your day. You get what you need, just without a constant overload.
So let's boil this all down into a simple, clear strategy. Number 1, vary your proteins. Rotate between plant and animal sources. Don't eat the same thing every day. 2, pack your plate with antioxidants. That means lots of colorful fruits and veggies. 3, use gentle cooking methods. Steaming and baking are way better than charring on a grill. And finally, number 4, and this is a big one, get your methionine from food, not from a bottle. Don't take supplements unless a doctor tells you to.
You know, this whole journey into just one single amino acid, it really shows you something pretty profound, doesn't it? It shows how our daily food choices are this constant conversation with our own biology, and that leads us to one final empowering question.
So the real question to leave you with is this. In a world with endless choices, how can you start to fine-tune your diet? How can you use this kind of knowledge to help your body move beyond just getting by, beyond just surviving, and start truly, deeply thriving?